Imagine a chilly Tuesday morning at 7 o'clock. Your crew is huddled around the tailgate of the chip truck, hands tucked deep into their pockets, steam rising from their coffee mugs. You pull out a crumpled piece of paper clamped to an old wooden clipboard, a generic corporate safety sheet you printed off some random website about eye protection or proper lifting techniques. You read the paragraphs out loud in a flat, monotone voice, and you can literally watch your guy's eyes glaze over. One groundman is staring at his phone, another is yawning, and your lead climber is staring off into space, adjusting his bootlaces. When you finish reading, you toss the pen down and say, "All right, everyone sign the bottom." They scribble their names without reading a single word, just so you can file that paper away in the truck cab to satisfy an insurance auditor or an OSHA inspector. 10 minutes later, you arrive at the job site. You unreel the lines, crank up the saws, and that exact same groundman who just signed the paper walks directly under a hanging 30-foot dead limb without his hard hat on, right into the active drop zone. That signature on the clipboard didn't change a single piece of human behavior. It didn't protect his skull, it didn't open his eyes, and it certainly didn't protect your business from a catastrophic liability claim. It was nothing but a hollow ritual. It was paper safety, and paper safety is a completely useless shield when real wood starts falling. Running a tree care company with a clipboard-only safety program is exactly like looking at a massive, majestic sugar maple that looks perfectly green and full of leaves from 20 feet away. But the moment you walk up and tap a mallet against the root flare, you realize it is completely hollow, rotten, and full of soft punk wood inside. It looks great from the outside. It looks good for the inspectors. But the very first time a real windstorm hits, or the moment a heavy rigging line puts a true dynamic load on that trunk, the entire structure is going to snap and come crashing down around you. Today, we are going way beyond the clipboard. We are talking about how to build a legitimate, deep-rooted safety culture that your crew actually respects, absorbs, and executes every single day. We are going to throw away the generic, boring lectures, and I am going to guide you by the hand through how to run a morning tailgate meeting that actually sticks in your guys' brains while they are 60 feet in the air. To build an airtight safety culture that protects your crew and your bottom line like a premium, life-rated friction hitch, we need to make 3 major shifts in our daily operations. The first major shift is moving from generic lectures to site-specific, active hazard assessments. If you are reading a pre-written sheet about general workplace safety while standing in your shop yard, you are wasting your breath. Your crew's brains are wired for action, not academic reading. You need to hold your safety meetings directly on the job site, standing under the exact canopy you are about to prune or remove, and you need to make it completely visual and interactive. Think of it as a 360-degree tree risk assessment that the entire crew conducts together. Instead of you doing all the talking, you need to turn it into a Q&A session. Walk your crew into the backyard, look up at the tree, and ask your lead climber, what is the #1 hazard you see up in that canopy right now? Let him point out the dead codominant stem with the included bark. Then look at your groundman and ask, where are the targets on this property? Let him point out the glass greenhouse, the telephone line, and the customer's expensive concrete bird bath. Then look at your youngest helper and ask, where is the safe retreat zone when the main trunk gets dropped? When you force your guys to physically look at the hazards, speak the words out loud, and identify the danger zones with their own eyes, you are burning today's battle plan directly into their minds. You are transforming a boring regulatory requirement into a highly practical, tactical briefing. The crew starts the day with an acute awareness of their specific surroundings, meaning they will spot a fraying rope or a shifting target long before it ever turns into an emergency call. The second shift is establishing a non-negotiable stop work authority for every single member of the crew, from your 20-year veteran climber down to the helper who started yesterday morning. In too many traditional tree companies, there is a toxic, old-school culture of bravado. Groundsmen are often terrified to speak up when they see something wrong because they don't want to get yelled at by a stressed-out boss or mocked by a macho climber who thinks he is completely invincible. They see a rigging block that was set up incorrectly or a pull line with a sketchy knot. but they keep their mouths shut because they don't want to slow down production or look stupid. That silence is the exact moment people get killed. You must build a safety hitch into your team's communication by giving everyone a red button. You need to look your crew in the eye and tell them, if you see a rope that looks worn, if you see a machine leaking fluid, or if you feel like a rigging setup doesn't look right, you have the absolute authority to yell out timeout and stop the entire operation immediately. And here is the golden rule. You will never ever get chewed out or penalized for calling a safety timeout, even if it turns out to be a false alarm. Think about how a secondary tie-in point works when you are working out on a long, sketchy limb. It doesn't mean you don't trust your primary rope. It means you understand that tree work is highly unpredictable, and having an extra layer of protection can mean the difference between going home to see your family or taking a helicopter ride to the trauma center. Empowering your ground crew to call a timeout is your business's secondary tie-in point. It creates a collective shield of accountability where everyone watches everyone else's back, eliminating the blind spots that lead to devastating accidents. The third and final shift is integrating safety directly into your production, speed, and equipment maintenance metrics. There is a massive, dangerous lie in our industry that says you have to choose between moving fast and being safe. Guys think that taking the time to set up cones, put on chainsaw pants, check the communication helmets, and double verify a rigging system slows them down and cuts into their daily profits. But that is completely backward thinking. True safety is the ultimate driver of high-efficiency production. Let us look at a real-world example from the tree. Think about how a razor-sharp, well-maintained chainsaw behaves compared to a dull saw with a loose chain. A dull saw forces you to lean into the cut, apply excessive physical pressure, overheat the bar, and leave a messy, ragged wound on the trunk that invites decay. It takes twice as long, destroys your muscles, and increases your risk of a kickback accident tenfold. A sharp saw, on the other hand, cuts through the wood like butter with minimal effort, leaving a clean, perfect collar cut in a matter of seconds. Operational safety is that sharp chain. When your trucks are meticulously organized, when your ropes are neatly flaked into bags instead of tangled in a pile, and when your crew uses clear, standard voice signals over their headsets. You don't slow down. You eliminate the chaos. You eliminate the frantic scrambling, the broken pull lines, and the misplaced tools that eat up hours of your day. Safety creates a smooth, predictable, mechanical flow on the property. And as the old military saying goes, slow is smooth and smooth is fast. When you prove to your crew that an organized, safe job site allows them to finish their work earlier with less physical exhaustion, they will guard that safety culture fiercely because it directly improves their quality of life. Shifting your company from a clipboard compliance mindset to a genuine safety-first culture requires absolute consistency from you, the owner. You cannot preach safety during your morning coffee and then hop into the truck and drive down the highway without your seatbelt on, or run a chainsaw on the ground without your personal protective gear. Your crew will copy your actions long before they ever follow your written rules. You must embody the standard every single second of the day. Let us lock in the core lesson for today. A piece of paper can satisfy an inspector, but only an active, zero-tolerance safety culture can protect your crew in the air and keep your tree company from getting crushed by a catastrophic liability storm. Here is your homework assignment for today while you are driving to your next property or heading back to the shop. Throw away that generic corporate safety checklist you have been using. Tomorrow morning, when your crew gathers at the first job site, I want you to hand the clipboard to your lead crew boss or your youngest groundman. Tell them that they are leading the morning hazard survey today. Have them walk the property, point out the power lines, identify the drop zones, and outline the safety protocol out loud to the rest of the team. Stop lecturing from the tailgate, start engaging your crew's minds on the ground, value their safety, stay protected out there today, and I will talk to you tomorrow.